Okay, so let's take a look at how you can set up CouchDB database on Google Cloud. So I have this trial account with Google Cloud Platform, and I have created one project, also set up the billing, and now my dashboard looks like this, right? So once we set everything up, we are ready to use our credits to set up one CouchDB database. So I will go to compute engine and I will create VM instance. Now this VM instance will make use of marketplace image for CouchDB, right? So what we can do, either we can use create instance or we can directly go to marketplace, right? So in my case I will click on create instance. It will take a bit of time to load all the options for marketplace. So out of these four options, I can create from scratch or from template and machine image. Three of these options would be not suitable in our case, so I will use marketplace, because if you choose to create from scratch, you will have to install Linux first, then manually issue the command to install your CouchDB database. Another option is using existing image that has preloaded CouchDB database. You can use that too, right? So like this you have multiple options. So we'll choose price. So price should be free, and then we will search for CouchDB in marketplace results, right? So here you can see CouchDB instance from Google and from DevNami. You can use either one of these and deploy it on GCP. So let's assume that I make use of Google's image of CouchDB, right? So here, as you can see, it has pricing option based on how many memory you choose. So if you choose 8 GB to CPU, it will have this much price. By default, considering CouchDB is a free database, there won't be any database fee. So click launch, so the configuration can be copied over. Then again click launch, it should take you there, right? It will check for API, and then it will take you to deployment form. Here you'll see your fee is like this. Let's try to reduce this with choosing the machine type. So we'll keep the E2 series, but machine type you will change to, let's say, small. So you have 2 GB of memory. Hopefully that shouldn't cause much problem. Now your billing is reduced, so you have like 1 CPU and 2 GB, right? So that's fine. You need minimum 20 GB of disk for Debian, and you need port 5984 free along with 4369, one HTTP, one HTTPS. So these two things set up. Our deployment name here, however, is CouchDB-1. You can replace this with your own. If you want to choose another zone, you can also do that, right? And if you are not satisfied with this particular option, you can always choose the series differently, right? Then there is also machine type to choose from. Let's see, this being the only small option, all other options are pretty expensive with memory, right? So E2 is the option where you can choose between 1 CPU and 2 GB memory, right? Now, like I said, boot disk, you can choose between standard persistent or SSD. So another option, 20 GB boot disk. Now for networking, we can choose between our IPs. We'll also have your firewall settings that we already discussed. Then finally, stack driver. If you want to manage and monitor, you can enable, disable them, right? Once you choose what to do with them, you can click on deploy, right? So pretty much everything is set up, and here you can see we scroll to the bottom and click deploy, it will start the deployment, and then we will be presented with deployment manager, where we will see what are some of the options we have. Here you can see we have temporary password and CouchDB username as administrator. There should be option to log in once the deployment is complete, right? We will also take a look at URL. So we will use 5984 and that IP to access it. And so we will go through some of the options. Alternatively, I can also access it through SSH in browser. So either one of these use would do. There is this Futon option, which is backend for CouchDB, that we can use as well. Right now, here you see you have option to access CouchDB, right? So it has few warnings, so we will look at that. However, we will first go to this particular URL. So we'll copy this, and as you can see, you can also use SSH tunnel. For that you can use gcloud. So I will copy this, right? And here first thing we will go is, right here we have Cloud Shell. I will use new window for this, right? And for that new specific window you have to use this gcloud command, right? And once we go there, it should let us connect. So here is your Cloud Shell. Let's paste our option, hit enter. You can authorize and it will let you log in. Now there you see we logged into the Linux, which is the instance for our CouchDB, right? Now what we can do here is we can take a look at some of the commands, right? Now once we log in, next step is to check curl, right? So I need to check curl / version because I need this for our particular CouchDB usage. So once we verify that we have curl, next thing is I will try and connect to our CouchDB through curl, then HTTP, then localhost, and then use 5984 as port. Let's try and access this. If it gives us some message, here you see error, unauthorized reason authentication required. So it is asking me to make use of authentication, so we will take a look at that. Now to authenticate, what I can do is I can type in curl and then HTTP, then here I will use administrator, then I will use colon, and then we can use password from this particular temporary page. I will copy that and go here and I will paste that here, and I will use tab, and then I will use @ and I will use localhost and 5984. Let's hit enter after that, right? And it returns with welcome message. So CouchDB welcome version 331 and everything related to their message. This is something we have found through our curl, right? So there is also Futon option. So to access a Futon, we will have to use our IP address to access things, right? So for now, let me give you option to get all the databases. So curl -X, then use get, then HTTP, then localhost, then 5984, then / _ all _ DBs. and then again it will ask me for authentication. For each usage it seems like it is asking me to authenticate, right? So if I run, let's say curl then dash, right? So for this command dash x then get, underscore all underscore dbs, and currently we don't have any database here. Now let's try and access our Futon. So I will go for checking my VM instance for the IP address. So let's go there. Here I will be checking VM instance. So we go to our main menu, and over there we will be seeing compute engine, and then we will check for virtual machine, right? So VM instances, right? So let's wait for our instance to load, and over there I can find out the IP address. So for that I may have to access the network configuration that shows me IP. So network interface, external IP address, this is what I need. So I will copy this, and in new tab I will paste this and use 5984, then / underscore utils, then again underscore, and hit enter. You will be presented with this administrator username. There is also password that I will copy and paste it here, sign in, which will give you your Foxton's backend, right? So here you will be creating your database. So you can click create database and then do all the operation that you are supposed to in the backend, right? So we completed the whole process of accessing from curl as well as from browser for working with CouchDB on GCP.